It is 5:15, and coming up in a moment, there's been a lot of talk in recent months about sports gambling and whether it might be reduced online and on TV. You're going to hear from Mark Kempster, who's a Tasmanian who says he's lost a lot of money on online betting. He placed his last bet, though, in 2020 and has since been working super hard on his recovery and advocating for better regulation of the online gambling industry in Australia. More from him in just a moment.
PR disasters sorted.
It's all under control.
Mostly.
You were born after the last Blockbuster closed.
What the hell is Blockbuster?
In brand new comedy, Optics.
Oh my God. Oh.
Stream all episodes now on ABC iView.
There's something very unique about the Tasmanian people. They're really down to earth and they're very fresh-minded and they're very creative.
Nice view everywhere. Love the coffee bars.
The people here as well.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Now we're talking Tasmania.
ABC Radio Hobart with Kylie Baxter.
In news today, Federal Labor is accused of shelving a proposal to cut the volume of sports betting advertisements until after the election. So you can imagine how someone like Mark Kempster, a Tasmanian man, feels. He's lost a lot of money in the past on betting, placed his last bet, though, in 2020, but would like to see reform. He wants things to change, and he joins me on the program. Mark, good afternoon.
Thanks, Kylie.
And so why does this issue mean so much to you?
I think it means a lot to a lot of Australians at the moment who are going through addiction or been through addiction like I did. I lost a considerable amount of money, $100,000 through my 20s, early 30s. Almost ruined my life. I'm one of the lucky ones who's got to a point where I'm happy to speak out about it and try and make people understand the damage that the advertising and the industry is causing around Australia at the moment. It's the most predatory industry we probably have in this country since we've probably got some type of control on cigarettes these days. But outside of that, it's completely unregulated and predatory.
So when an ad comes on, when you're online or just sitting in your lounge watching TV, what does that do to you? How does it make you feel?
I've had to stop watching sport, and that's hard for me because I grew up playing footy, cricket, love sport. So I've got to watch a lot of sport on replay now and not live because I don't want to put my own mental health at danger because we have sporting codes in this country who can't seem to operate without gambling revenue coming in. So it's a horrible situation we've got ourselves into that we have sporting codes and TV industries reliant on gambling money and harming people in this country to make profit.
Do you think that a gambler, an addicted gambler, could see an ad like that, or even if they were trying to reform, that could be the trigger that just tips them over? It's just so hard to step away.
I'm trying to help a lot of people now. So part of my recovery and part of trying to get some change in this country is trying to help as many people as I can. So I have a lot of people who reach out to me these days who want help with gambling, and they all tell me they feel trapped by the industry and the ads they see on TV. So I know people have fallen back into addictions because of the ads and because they feel they can't get away from it. So every day that these ads are left on TV, people are falling back into or going into addictions because of it.
So what would you like to see? Would it be a total ban, or what would you feel was reasonable?
I'd really like to see the government do what they said they were going to do and implement. Well, at least they haven't even tabled Peter Murphy's report in Parliament yet. It's been nearly 2 years since I gave evidence. Peter's unfortunately passed away since that time, and she was such a big advocate of it. We had the Prime Minister stand up at her funeral and say he was going to honour her legacy, and he is honestly disgusted her legacy the last 12 months, the way he's just kicked this can down the road and refused to take any responsibility on it. So I want to see gambling ads banned. There's no need. They're no different to cigarette advertising. They cause the amount of harm that cigarettes do in this country. So it needs to be a public health issue. They need to be banned altogether, along with the other 20 or 30 odd recommendations that were in the report as well need to all be implemented.
And can you just give us some of the key recommendations from that report, the ones that come to mind that really stood out for you?
So the government have brought in a couple of them. So Bet Stop is a great initiative which they've brought in, which doesn't get enough advertising. I feel that there is a really good way to register and stop gambling companies contacting you and be able to bring in, to contact you at all. The other main one was having a regulatory body that's independent of the government in this country. At the moment, we have all our regulatory bodies for gambling go through state-based governments and federal government. It needs to be a completely independent body because at the moment there's no actions for any of these companies if they do break the law either. So having a completely independent body would really help as well.
Someone's just texted into the program and said 100%, this is Colin in Sorrel, gambling ads in all forms should be banned. It doesn't do any good, it only causes harm. Perhaps Colin's got lived experience, perhaps he doesn't. But, you know, if you've been there and you've experienced it, it must just feel like a slap in the face.
It does. I honestly feel like the government's turned its back on me and every single other person who gave evidence of that report and who have to live through this every day. I have family members who are living through it every day. It's not just me and the actual lived experience people. It's the people around it that get dragged into it as well. Family members and communities who have to put up with the crime that comes from people who are addicted to gambling, who launder money and defraud people of money and things along these lines. So it's such a big issue that we're on the crest of this huge wave, especially coming out of the pandemic where a lot of people did get addicted because there was nothing else to do during that time.
My guest, if you have just joined the conversation, is Mark Kempster, who's an anti-gambling advocate, but has also lost a lot of money in the past himself. Mark, how did gambling impact your life and relationships? Obviously, we know you lost a lot of money. Yeah. No, look, I've lost a lot of people around me in my life who I turned into a horrible person, and I've spoken about this before with you, Kylie, and other stations as well, that it really ruined me. Like, I was a very outgoing, friendly person, probably in my early 20s, and this really took over in my early 20s and it turned me into a really vindictive, angry person, I suppose. I was a horrible person to be around, and I know that now. I knew that at the time, but I just didn't want to do anything about it because I was so trapped by my addiction. But looking back now, I'm very lucky that my partner stood by me at the time because she had every right to go the way I was. But she stuck by me. My family, close unit, stuck by me, which is really good as well. But a lot of people aren't that lucky. Usually in these situations, people lose people in their lives and they fall even further down the hole and they have no way of getting out of it. So it drags so many people down around you. Gambling addiction does. It's not just the person that it affects like immediately. It's the whole effect of everyone else around it getting dragged into it as well. And do you have any advice to share to those people listening who might have a gambling addiction? They might not really want to admit it, but they're listening right now going, yep, I actually fit that category and I'm feeling angry and I'm feeling lost and I'm losing money and it's impacting my family. What advice would you have for those people? The best thing I did was open up. Like I tried to fight this for 10 years by myself and never got anywhere. I took little breaks. I tried to use the self-exclusion functions on apps and they didn't work either because the gambling companies contact you straight away. So try and find someone around you who you can trust and open up to. Go and see your GP. They can put mental health plans in place and you can get support through psychologists, which is really beneficial for me as well, to have someone who hasn't got that preconceived idea of who you are to go and speak to, and also have a look at BetStop. If you are struggling with gambling, the best thing you can do is register for BetStop and put the stop to actually being able to sign up to any gambling agency as well, and that blocks you from all those agencies as well. Well, look, keep up the amazing work as an anti-gambling advocate, and so great that you're helping other people to try and just kick the habit, I guess you'd say. Mark Kempster, thanks for coming into the studio and joining me. Anytime, Kylie.